Hey, before we get into the show, I just want to remind you guys that I do a newsletter every Monday. It's a sales tip straight to your inbox. It's called Sales Ammo. You can sign up for free to receive these emails by going to artofsba.com, and we'll put you on the email list. And then you can start getting these golden sales nuggets every single Monday to start your week. All right, now let's get on with the intro. 2 years ago, we interviewed Daniel Park from Southern California. He's an SBA lender with US Metro Bank, and he did $100 million in 1 year in production. And so 2 years later, we thought we would invite him back to check in, see how things are going, because 2021 was a heck of a year in our world, right? In the SBA industry, we had free money, and it created like a kind of a one-off, insane, high volume type of year for SBA lenders. And so in the episode, Daniel basically tells us he's projecting a down year the following year, which did happen. He only did 90-something million the next year, which he was shocked that he did that well. But now rates have gone up, right? He is doing mostly 7A real estate, a lot of industrial, retail, office, things like that. And most of that business has fell by the wayside. So he had to completely reinvent himself this year. And he's on track to clear $100 million again. So $300 million in 3 years, but it took a pivot. And that's an important lesson for BDO. Sometimes you have to make a pivot. But the other lesson is there's no excuses, right? You can lose 75% of your business. You still have to hit your goals. And so we sat down with Daniel and kind of just caught up and had a little bit of a just discussion on the market, kind of where things are. And so I hope you enjoyed this episode, just catching up with Daniel and getting a little bit of a market update from him. So without further ado, let's get on with the show. The SBA industry is rooted in banking, and banking is old school, but that's all starting to change. You hear people talk about AI, and it all sounds great, but let's be real. You and I don't know the first thing about AI, but Lumos does. Lumos is an analytics company that provides small business lenders with better tools that drive better decisions in a more efficient process. Take the Lumos Business Report, for example. This is going to completely revolutionize how deals get underwritten, starting with the BDO. The Lumos Business Report allows lenders to search for a specific business and in seconds access all kinds of information like a business overview, industry data, insights into competition, average pricing, even a predicted expected loss, all tailored around that specific loan request. Guys, we can finally make credit decisions using actual data. Stop using what you think you know about an industry to make credit decisions and start using the whole story. Let Lumos take your small business lending to the next level with cutting-edge analytics and AI by going to lumosdata.com and scheduling your demo today. All right, Daniel Park, welcome back to the podcast, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thanks for having me back.
I got to invite you on the podcast just to talk to you.
Hey, like the merch?
I appreciate you representing out there in California, man.
Yes, sir.
Listen, we released that episode December 2021. Can you believe it? Almost 2 years ago.
It's almost 2 years, man. Yeah.
And I cannot believe those balloons and the birthday things are still in your background.
For the record, these are a new set of balloons and a new set of happy birthday sign. It's not the same one.
That must be from, because isn't your birthday in like September or November?
So yeah, this is almost going on 1 year.
Yeah. Wow. Now so we did that episode. The title of the episode, drew a lot of attention. It was how Daniel Park originated $100 million in loans. In 1 year, and I believe, if I remember, about 83 million of that was 7A.
Yeah, it was up there. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And when we were talking, you said this was a non-recurring year, right? This was 2021.
Yeah. That's what I told myself and told everyone else.
Yeah. And you'd be lucky and you're going to work hard to make that happen again. But, you were prepping maybe for a down year. Who knows? So tell me, how'd it go? How did it end up going?
So that was 21 we did this interview, right? Mm-hmm. So I think 21... I ended up at like 108. right? And then so I was okay, maybe in 2022, maybe I'll do half of that, right? I fell a little short. I think like 94, 93. So that's slight downfall. Yeah.
And what about this
And
year?
then this year, I'm at 95.
And we're recording this in the middle of September, so you're gonna beat your record this year.
I don't want to jinx myself, but I may be nice. Yeah. So anytime if I get to the century mark, I'll be a happy camper. But like everybody that's out there, it's a little bit slower than what it was in the summertime. I just had two huge months. I think it was either June and July or July and August where I did like 44 million bucks.
Wow,
And it just kind of put me over the top. Yeah.
that's crazy. So is your mix still the same? Because you can do 7A conventional and also 504, or
No, I have yet to have one 504 this year. It's mostly USDA, SBA, and pari passu. I think I may have to maybe like one conventional this whole year, maybe one or two of them.
so your SBA is up, conventional's down.
Oh yeah, conventional's way down. Yeah, we just stopped doing conventional for quite a bit. We just started opening that up again here maybe last month or so. But prior to that, it was either UST or SBA. That was it. Yeah,
Well,
7A. Yeah,
I mean, I want to talk about the market with you because it's interesting.
yeah.
The like you said, it feels like it's getting a little tougher, but yet you're having your best year ever. So I'm trying to reconcile that.
Hmm. I guess because now I've kind of specialized in a certain type of asset. I mean, I'm doing more or less of hotels and hospitality, right? That really wasn't my thing, but I just kind of found myself in there, and that accounts for a bulk of my business. Yeah, I would say about 70 to 80% is mostly hospitality.
So you adapted basically with some other business
Oh
coming
yeah,
down. You went out and
yeah,
found new business like a good business development person.
absolutely, yeah, exactly, yeah. You have to be able to pivot, right, in this type of environment. So I've found that hospitality sector is still going pretty strong, right? So that was a big booster for me. The 10-year money stuff, I still have not done one yet. I may have a small one. We're talking maybe a couple $100,000. I don't. I might be posting up on LinkedIn, but that's about it. Yeah. Yeah.
So what
So I haven't even gotten into the 10-year market yet. Wow.
yet? Are you planning on it?
Well, I mean, yeah, we are. Yeah. But I haven't even gotten that. I haven't rolled that out yet. Yeah. So I'm just more focusing more on the real estate, hospitality. Now I'm looking into some of the office, some of the other multi-purpose properties. But I would say year to date, it's been mostly hospitality for me at least. Yeah.
So what was that other stuff you were doing that's gone down, and why did it go down? Was that like office warehouse stuff?
Yeah, office warehouse stuff, that just might be the market itself, or I just can't compete anymore, right? I mean, you can go to like a Wells Fargo or a Chase and get a 25-year fix, somewhere in the mid sevens. I can't compete. I mean, that's not my place. So, I mean, I know my competition. I know where I fit in, and that's basically what I try to cater to market to is just that little space that I can fit into. That's really what it is. Yeah. So I don't ever go up against a Wells or a Chase because those deals are never mine to begin with, right? That's kind of you have to know your competition at the end of the day. Yeah.
Well, with the rate, because we're as 7A lenders based off prime,
Yeah, it's all floating, right?
you could do deals even at prime plus one and be at 9.5%,
9.5, yeah.
but and that's skinny, for an SBA lender, but
Oh yeah, that's super skinny. Yeah.
with some of the other products now, there's a little bit more of a spread between the rates with 7A and maybe a 504 or conventional, and now that's what you're saying is driving down some of your business in those markets.
Yeah, especially I mean, it seems like nowadays, not all of them, but for a big chunk of the borrowers and clients that I speak to, when you say the word adjustable, they run for the hills. I mean, that's what it is. So I mean, that kind of like scares a lot of people.
Why is that though?
Especially,
If we're already kind of past, these really steep rate hikes.
and that's kind of what I'm thinking too. Like, hey, if you're able to afford your payments at this level, there's only one way, which is to go down, right? At the end of the day, it's not going to keep going up, but we don't know that, right? We're just speculating. But I mean, that's kind of like what we're hoping to see, what we're anticipating, but who knows, right?
Well,
But
everyone I ask, I'm like, they say, is it fixed or adjustable? And I say, well, what would you prefer? If I gave you 10% fixed or 10% adjustable, what would you prefer? And 8 out of 10 people are saying, well, they're thinking about it and they're like, well, I guess adjustable, because they feel that we're kind of towards the top and they want to be able to ride the wave down.
Absolutely, yeah. If everybody can think like you and I, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's what
I'm having more trouble with just the rate itself.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Because, double digit interest rates are tough. And, if you aren't tying it to prime, you can do some lower stuff. And in fact, I'm seeing some people actually, they're going prime minus.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah. So the market's gotten a little bit more rate sensitive and a little bit more of a shift.
Right. Correct.
What else, is different in the market that you've noticed with different competitors? I'm just trying to think back to, the last couple of years, and has anything else, stood out to you in terms of like changes?
I am definitely seeing more projection-based loans, right? That's a big thing now, where we don't even have global cash flow, but then it is SBA eligible, so they'll maybe price it at prime plus 225, prime plus 250, right? It's basically risk-based pricing is what you're doing, right? Unless you've got decent equity. I mean, yeah.
Are you doing that, or are competitors doing that?
We are doing that somewhat. So in our credit box, if it's the deal itself it's not a large size deal. Let's say it's maybe a couple $1 million, right? And the sponsors do have some tangible net worth, right? Maybe we'll have them do like a 25% equity injection, and we can just do that on a projection based loan and just kind of price it up a little bit. So we are seeing more of that. So we on those type of deals, we really look at the experience we really look at the resume and the net worth of the sponsor. Yeah, but I mean, we're starting to see some more of that here, at least down here in Southern California. Yeah.
Well, interesting. Yeah, I mean, so it sounds like, and this is kind of like just overarching for the market, if the supply is down, you have to go find new supply, and one way to do that is to open up your credit box and essentially take on more risk.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
The shift happened so rapidly that it just shocked the market. And dude, I would think that as a real estate focused lender, you'd be really hurting right now. And I mean, it sounds like you're not, obviously, but it's because of the hospitality stuff, which I didn't know.
I'll be the first one to tell you. Yeah.
So what's going on with the hospitality space?
I think it's still pretty strong, especially the hospitality in the Midwest and the East Coast. Not so much in California, because I feel like everything is just priced out too high. It just doesn't make any sense. But, I'm getting a lot of deals in Texas, Oklahoma. A lot of those Midwest states are still doing pretty well. When I'm able to shift that to the USDA, they're eligible. Now you're going from a 25-year amortization to a 30-year. So that kind of, improves the cash flow a little bit as well.
Yeah.
Right. And on those, we're able to price a little bit, skinnier than what we do on a 7A, because the secondary market premium is actually better on those than you're on the 7A stuff. So that kind of alleviates some of the, the interest rate issues that we're having. Yeah, just the longer amortization at the end of the day. Yeah.
The amount of work it takes to get an SBA loan to the finish line is insane. So when I get hit with an environmental wreck 2 weeks out from closing, let's just say I'm not happy. And I get it. It's the environment. The buyer should know what's going on, and there's huge liabilities for them and for us as a lender if we have to take back a contaminated property. So the SBA requires certain environmental due diligence. But I'm a BDO and I just want to close. I'm kidding. But when I do run into an environmental issue, I call Derek. Derek Azovsky is president of ORMS. ORMS manages the environmental due diligence process, so you don't have to. ORMS provides RSRAs, and they can order your phase ones through their network of environmental experts. And then when that report is complete, they make sure it was done right. And when there is a finding, they can help translate it into English and help you navigate the SBA's complex environmental guidelines. I recommend ORMS to all my friends, and I urge you to take further action and go to orms.com for more information. Dude, listen, I can't believe you're going to be doing like 300 million in 3 years. Are you getting burnt out at all?
No, man, this is what I do. This is my passion, you know.
How do you avoid the burnout?
I keep setting higher goals for myself. You know what I mean? I try to be a better person today than I was yesterday, right? So, I mean, I've got my own personal goals, right? My goal this year was maybe like, if I could hit maybe like 55, $60 million, I'd be a happy, man, right? I mean, because we're on that, you know, the rates are going up like crazy. But when I got to 70, I was like, you know what? Let's try to for that 100 million. So here I am with about 3.5 months.
And, dude, that's
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah. And I'm glad we're able to document this wild period in time. You're like a legend in the BDO, you know,
No,
in the
man,
BDO space.
It's the people behind me. I'm telling you, brother. It's not just me. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just a guy with the Art of Lending SBA shirt on. That's all I am, you know. But yeah, there's a whole army behind me that's really supporting me at the end of the day. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, yeah, you have the 3, you call them loan officers. You still have 3 loan officers?
No, I don't.
Oh.
So basically, I'm down to 1 that's actually on my team. Yeah, 1 left, I think maybe a few months ago. And then I've got 1 closer, I guess. And then I've got, that's really it. Yeah. But I'm getting support from the branch level. Like, you know, a lot of times when these guys are, you know, coming on board, you know, we're doing a lot of the DDA stuff, a lot of ancillary products that we do offer as well, right? So it's not just a, you know, just a transaction type of a relationship that we're trying to build. You know, it goes beyond us. We're talking about, you know, ACH, DDA, savings account, all that stuff, you know, and I've got some operations managers. Sunshine actually takes care of all of that there. Then you've got the SBA manager, you know, got in Ty Park. He's been here for some years, and he's kind of oversees the SBA operations. Then you've got Abraham, who's like, he's not a COO actually, and he's kind of like the main guy. So those are the key players that's kind of like, you know,
making it happen.
Oh yeah, man. So it's not just me, you know, I'm just a regular guy, man. but I do love what I do. I mean,
I know.
Yeah.
It's fun, man. I mean, yeah. And you're good at it.
I love it. Yeah.
And you're good at it. And, you know, you get deals in, and I know your model's a little different than a lot of folks. Like you have, you bring in those loan officers are kind of like underwriters to you, and they're, and
yeah. Oh yeah. Man.
Well, you only have, you're down to 1. You're down to 1.
I'm down to 1, but then if there's an overflow, you know, I've got other underwriters that are not on my team that I can always, you know, rely on.
Yeah. Right.
So,
okay.
Essentially, I mean, those like 4 people that are chipping in. Yeah. If my main person can't do it, then I've got 3 or 4 other people that can do it.
But to do these types of numbers, what I want to get at is like, you have to have a system, and you have to have really a good approach on the front end, because you can't just be, you know, getting a deal and you got to see, can I do it, kick it around, you know, figure it out. You kind of have to just take it and start running and know what you can do. And I'm curious, like, I just feel like you know what you can and can't do.
Yeah, and that just me being here for going on my I mean I'm 7 years now. I'll be 8 years and
more.
March,
yeah,
right?
That's
so
impressive.
I understand my bank and what we're good at and what we're not good at, right? So that's kind of like that's really helped me out. Plus, I have a daily routine that I kind of stick to every day, and that's kind of helped me out quite a bit actually. So first things first, I get up, I pray, I drink my coffee, I watch the news, right? I hit the gym, I pray, come back, shower up, take the kids to school, go to work, and I write down everything that I need to get done today. Yeah, that's what I do. And I try to cross them out as I complete.
That's what you
tasks.
said last time, so that's still working for you.
Yeah, it's still man. I mean, yeah, it sure is. Yeah, so that's what it is.
It's kind of like, you know, how do you eat an elephant, right? It's like one bite at a time. So you just sit there and you get things done. I mean, because people could get overwhelmed when you get to this level, and you just have so many deals in all the different stages, and plus you're helping and servicing, and you know it's almost like you look at the list of things you have to do and people get overwhelmed so they don't get anything done. But you've avoided that.
Yeah.
So how quickly can you look at a deal and figure out if it's a fit?
I'll give you an example. So last night, I got an email from one of my brokers that, hey, it's a small little deal. Let me know what you think. And I was literally like in the middle of dinner, and I checked out my phone. I looked at it real quickly. I said, hey, you know what? On paper, this looks pretty good. Let's get it done. And then today, I got an LOI to him this morning. Actually, about an hour ago. Yeah.
Wow. So
Yeah,
that's fast.
Yeah, and I think that's the key, Ray, is that, there is no working hours in this business, right? I mean, and most brokers that I talk to, they appreciate that. You know what I mean? Like 8:30 at night, you still texting your broker, and they're very appreciative of that. So, and they remember that, right? So the two things that I realized and I noticed about this business is that, first things first, people do business with people that they like. That's, at the end of the day, that's what it is, right? I mean, it's just, they gravitate to the people that they like, and that's at the end of that's what it is. Number two, when you go out of your way to the little things like that, it makes a big difference. Answering your phone calls, picking up your phone call on the weekends, texting back, all this stuff, man. It all adds up. Yeah.
Well, I agree with that. But it's also a really important insight into what it looks like to be a top producing BDO, because this is something I've definitely, it's a commonality amongst high producers. It's some sacrifices essentially is what you're making, right?
Well, yeah,
you're not closing the laptop at 5 o'clock and coming back the next day at 9 a.m.
No. Yeah.
You're working nights and weekends.
I am. Yeah.
And that's what it takes to be Daniel Park. Listen, I want to ask you something. And if you don't want to answer, we can cut this out. But last time you were here, you said, knock on wood, you had not had a deal go bad. Rates have doubled since that interview. Deals are going bad. Default rates are up. I assume you've had at least one deal go bad since that.
When you say bad, as in like just straight.
Let's just say 60-day delinquency.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it's because of the rates is what they say.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's exactly what it is. So I've got 2 deals right now that are on the verge of going 60 days, right? And I've got one deal where I'm not sure where it's at actually. I don't know if it's with the attorneys or not, but they may have caught up with their payments. But essentially, these are the ones where we did the loan at prime plus 1, back in the COVID years, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're thinking like what, 3.25, like 4.25, whatever that was back then. So yeah, you can imagine those deals have definitely given me some trouble. But all in all, it's not that bad, right? I mean, I've had some deals that are at 60 plus. But that's expected with this rate environment.
It's to be expected because you didn't.
Yeah.
Nobody stress test 5.5%.
Who does that, man? Right?
It's amazing that it's not worse, actually. But
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, that's good, man. And you're still, you are involved. You're like traditional banker in a sense of.
Dude, I'm all over it, man. At the end of the month, I'm on my phone just trying to get payments. That's what I do. Like the last week of every month, I'm just literally just hounding on Jim. Hey, I need a payment. I'm all over it. Man. You have to own the deal from start to finish. Yeah. Even when you bring him in, I mean, you still own that deal. So yeah. I'm involved.
Incredible.
Yeah, you got to do that.
Well, I want to shift gears for a sec. There's a lot of BDOs out here in the market, some of which are brand new, some of which maybe have been at it a while, but they just haven't been able to gain traction. And, getting to talk to you as one of the top producing BDOs in the country, I mean, it's a great treat. So,
am I really? You sure about that, man?
I have the data. I think. You got to go 7A alone. So and I'll count USDA as well. So you're pretty much at 90, whatever million. So that will put you, I think there might be 1 or 2 or 3 people ahead of you.
Yeah, I might know one of them.
You know one?
I think so. He's in the same state as me, right? Up in LA.
He's he works at my old shop.
Yep. Oh yeah. Yeah, that guy.
Yep. Yeah, he's big. He's
up there.
I know he did 150 million one year. something like
Wow.
that. Yeah.
Wow. That's up there.
He's amazing. So what advice, my question is, what advice, because you got to start somewhere, right, with the basics, right? Because you come from cold calling. You come from that era.
Yeah.
What are the basics? Like, what do people need to do to be successful? Like, why do you think folks are struggling? What are they not doing? What do they need to be doing?
That's a loaded question, man. But I guess, from my perspective, at least for as far as I'm concerned, you just really have to have that passion, and that's anything you do in life, right? And you really have to just kind of, just enjoy the moment, right? That's kind of how I look at it, right?
Well, that's not helpful, Daniel, because you can't teach passion.
Yeah, either you have it or you don't, right?
Yeah. I think,
for me,
talk to me about your referral sources, because I feel like you take really good care of your referral sources in terms of communication and just being upfront. Like, how do you manage those expectations and just like your referral sources in general?
To be honest with you, Ray, I have maybe 4 or 5 guys that are constantly giving me deals, and that's really what it is. So I guess for the guys that are starting out, just at least have good, solid 2 or 3 contacts, that you can always rely on. And the way I maintain those relationships is that I am upfront 100%. And I tell them, hey, you know what? I don't like to drag people through the whole process if I know it's not going to happen, right? And that's kind of like my selling point is, hey, look, deal's not going to happen here. If it does happen, then, but I tell them up front, like, hey, this deal's not going to work. If it's going to work, here's my pricing, and I just tell them up front. That's what it is. Yeah. I don't like to have any surprise at the last minute, and nobody does that, right? So, but I think the key here is you just got to get that first deal done. I'll give you an example. So I think, and you see my LinkedIn post, right? So, and I get a lot of calls in, right, from the posts and all that. Great, but it's a great marketing tool. Everyone should be on LinkedIn, by the way. Yeah, and if you're not, then you're missing out. So I had this one broker reach out to me, just, it was a true story, and the hotel guy. So, hey, I saw your post on LinkedIn. I got a deal here for you. That very first deal, I kind of, bent over backwards to get this one deal done. And since then, I think I've probably done at least 10 other deals on the same guy.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's always that first deal. Yeah.
Yeah.
And my upper management understands that,
Really?
And that's the thing. Oh, yeah. Because it takes one deal to make a deal, to make or break a relationship. That's what I look at it, right? So that's kind of like the key here.
Interesting. Yeah. It's not something we've talked about on this podcast, but now my brain is going. So it's like an audition.
Man. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And more than likely, that broker's going to probably give you something that's not the cleanest deal to test the waters, right? But you do right by that one deal, I guarantee he'll come back to you. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what I've noticed. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe it's a small deal, or maybe it's a...
Yes, it's not a large size deal, but it's some just to, kind of test the waters with your bank, right? But if you deliver on that one deal, and you say, look, you know what, I'm doing you solid on this deal, bring in more deals, and more than likely they'll bring in more deals. Yeah.
That's really cool that your upper management sees that, because I've seen BDOs get really upset when it's like when that 1 out of 10 deal goes south, and it happens to be with a new potential great
Yeah, exactly right, because he had 9 other great deals right behind it, right? Yeah.
But really, because it could be a good referral source, and the first deal might get a little tough, and it would be nice if everyone at the bank would recognize that, but it's also a little unrealistic to think that, to be quite frank. Most banks don't think like yours, I don't think, because I think most credit people think like credit people and how to mitigate risk, and I don't see them bending on their credit philosophy to earn business.
That's a great point. However, something that I want to add to that is, unless you have credibility with their credit people, that's the key, right? So if you've earned their trust, and I think I brought this up last time, right? They're kind of like sold on you already, then then they'll support you. That's kind of the way I look at it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But I strongly believe that that first deal, it can make or break your year. Yeah, especially if it's a pretty big broker, like just kind of testing the waters with you, and yeah, that's kind of like what I see.
Yeah. Well, I want to kind of finish up where we started, which is with the market. And you're in Southern California. I'm in South Florida. We kind of are in different markets, but maybe to some extent it's the same with, I feel like lenders kind of are lending nationally more and more and more.
Yeah.
So there's national lenders that I'm sure enter your backyard from maybe outside of the market.
Oh yeah. We see it all the time. Yeah.
And I want to keep track of the lenders because the SBA space is just getting more and more attractive to banks. And so you should see more new entrants coming in, and you see the existing entrants just wanting more and more because they're coming off of those 2021 years and they're trying to keep up. So something's got to give somewhere, right? You either have to hire more BDOs, cut rate, open your credit box, pay more points. It's going to be something. Have you noticed any like new entrants into your market that are doing anything that sometimes I like to call stupid?
Just more projection based loans, what I'm seeing a lot of, right?
Okay.
That's one thing. And of course, paying out more referral fees. I'm not too concerned about that because the guys I deal with, at the end of the day, a quarter of a point doesn't really make a big difference. It's rather you get the deal done or not. That's really what it counts at the end of the day. So I don't really, compete for pricing, if you will. But I've seen some guys, they'll do a high leverage, pure projection based deal type of, and those are really hard for us to kind of, so
well, that's
I am seeing that though.
So there, that's what I'm kind of getting at, because opening up your credit box is one way to get more business. Now that's a dangerous way to do it.
Man, absolutely. Yeah.
And it's it kind of puts the overall SBA portfolio at risk, but potentially. But I am seeing it. I mean, I lost a few deals this past week that I'm just like, how are these getting done? And I'm a cash flow lender, so I could do 10-year paper all day long. But it used to be that the lack of collateral was the weakness, and everything else made perfect sense. But now lack of collateral is almost like, at least for me and like the folks I compete against, collateral is not even a discussion. First of all, we're just going to assume there's no collateral. Right. Now what are the issues? And one of them, was a 2-year-old business that only cash flowed in the interims for being sold for $6 million. So imagine you get a deal for $6 million, and there's a large seller note, so your loan's only 3.5, let's say. But 2022 doesn't cash flow; it's interim and then projection.
I'm calling Fundex. Calling Ray Drew the same.
They had a commitment letter from another lender.
Wow.
They had a commitment letter from another lender. So someone did that. Somebody approved that. And I saw another one, and it was $1 million acquisition, no collateral, landscaping business. And the buyer had, his PFS net worth was $80,000, and it was all in cash and savings. So he was going to put in 5%, and he had very minimal experience. Yeah, so the seller was going to hold 5. He was going to have 5, have like 20 grand left over. And his resume was such that it was like, I think he was like, he was very young 20s. It was very light. We'll just say that. And I definitely hasn't managed a landscaping business. But anyway, not that you have to manage a landscaping business, but typically you have to manage something or someone.
Yeah.
But I turned it down because we require some sort of relevant management experience. But
I agree 100%, man. Yeah.
They got a term sheet.
Especially on 10%, especially in 10-year money stuff, man. You got to have that strong experience. Yeah.
They instantly got another term sheet, like after I turned. So, and honestly, the lenders that are doing this, they're they're not idiots. These are active SBA lenders, and I'm wondering if there's something I'm missing out, because it seems like lending has changed where you can go and almost get any deal done.
Yeah, as long as they're eligible, right? That's not something they really look at.
Well, some usually, but there's some.
Well, there's a good gray area.
There's some that, no, but I mean, and who even knows what's eligible nowadays? But yeah, man, I don't know. So just to put a fine point on it, the market. I think it's been changing. It's almost like every 6 months it's been changing, because you had the COVID era, you had the supply chain era, you had the inflation era, you had the rising rates era, and it's just going to keep going, I think. But, the key is adapt, right? For BDOs.
Absolutely, man.
There's no excuses. Yeah. You got to hit your numbers.
Yeah.
Even if it's 100 million.
Yeah, man. I don't know what next year holds, but yeah.
What are we projecting?
We'll see.
Dude,
I don't know, man. I mean, if I'm gonna do maybe like 50, 60, I'll be at the camper, man. Even at that, that's a lot of volume. It's not. It's a lot.
Cut to Daniel back next year. He's at 157 million, and it's June. Daniel Park, thank you so much for coming back to the podcast. I appreciate it.
Man, thanks for having me again, brother. All right, we'll talk to you soon.
All right,
take
see
care.
ya. All right, that's it for this week. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode of The Art of SBA Lending. And if you have any feedback or suggestions, email me at ray@artofsba.com. Until next time, ta-ta.